Monica Bradford with scrapinspired.com, and I wanted to show you today a little bit about how I keep up with and put together my December Daily album. This year for December Daily, I am using the red Snap album to house all of my December Daily goodness. I kept it pretty simple. I just bought a ornament at Target, glued it on the front with some glossy accents, stamped a little sentiment, and that's all I did. Now on the inside, I did make a title page that says December Daily 2012, and again, it's just got some, you can kind of see there's some more ornaments that I stuck on that. I'm using a format of the divided page protectors, and the way I'm doing it is I have, you can see I have one 6x8, and then I have one page protector that has a 4x6 on the bottom, and then the two 3x4 pockets at the top. Now before December even started, I went through and I created these two parts of my album. So I printed off these journaling cards that are by Allie Edwards. I bought at Designer Digitals. And then I created my number cards. And you can see those. I'll put the link below. You can see my entire foundation and how I made my cover on my website. Today I want to show you how I go through putting together each day's December Daily layout. So during the month of December, you will probably see me with my big camera. I don't always carry my big camera around from day to day in my regular life, but during December Daily I do. Now I don't bring all my lenses, I don't bring all my gear, I just have my one favorite lens, which for me is this 35mm 1.8 fixed lens on my Nikon. It's my favorite, so it's the one I just kind of keep on my camera wherever we go. But I'm not above taking pictures with my phone, because I also get really good pictures with this. In fact, one day I forgot my camera already this month, and I used my phone, and I was able to enlarge that photo to a 6x8 and print it out, and it still has fine quality. So I don't have any issues using my phone to take my pictures during the month of December. Typically though, I will use my big camera just because I want a little bit better quality, and a lot of the photos are at night or low light, and so it makes it easier to get the kind of quality I need with my big camera. So I carry my camera around with me during the day, and whenever I see a story that I think, that's it, that's the story I'm going to tell for today, I start snapping pictures. Now, that story might happen at 8 a.m. or it might happen at noon or at 5. Whenever it happens though, I take the pictures and I'm done. I don't stress and be like, oh wait, but what if something else happens later that will be so cool? I don't worry about it. I got my story for today, I document it, and I'm finished. I try to keep documenting my story each day to under 30 minutes because all I'm really doing is printing out my photos and then writing a few lines of journaling. So now that I've got my story captured for the day, let me show you what I do to pull together the rest of the album. Okay, now that I've got my photos taken, I upload them to my computer and I open them in Photoshop Elements. For me, I'm using Photoshop Elements 10, but I'm sure that these steps would be similar for other versions of Photoshop Elements as well as other photo editing software. So the first thing I do is I decide which photo is going to be my main large 6x8 photo. And for the one I'm showing you today, I'm going to choose this photo of my two boys. They surprised me by cleaning a bunch of rooms in the house one morning before school on a day that they had a late start. So I took this picture of them and I made sure to take it up and down, which is something that I actually have to really think about because I usually take my photos horizontal, but I know for my album I need a vertical 6x8. So I took one of them together as a vertical photo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crop it down to 6 inches wide by 8 inches high, and I make sure that the resolution is 300. And then I can crop my photo to the size that I want. I'm going to go ahead and try to get most of the width, but then I can adjust a little bit on the height. Okay, and now that I have my photo, I'm going to hit select, and I like to go ahead and do view fit on screen to make it big again. Now, when I'm doing editing for December Daily, I don't do big, huge, full edits. I like to do just kind of quick and easy. So I go to Enhance, Auto Contrast, Enhance. I even do Auto Levels, Enhance again. I go to Adjust Color and Remove Color Cast. And I click on something white in the image just to make sure that we've got a good skin tone and color tone. And I hit OK. That's it. That one is ready. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to choose the Move tool instead of the Crop tool. I'm going to come down here to my project bin, and I've got open this Ali Edwards ping file that has the date on it. Now I want it to be in white instead of in black. So what I'm going to do is come over here to these little background, foreground color squares. And I'm going to click on the black and white to make it sure it's a pure black and white, and then I'm going to do the little switch arrows so that the white is on top. And I will come up here to Edit, Fill Layer, and have it use the foreground color. You could make it a custom color if you wanted, but I'm just going to use the foreground color. Make sure that it says Preserve Transparency. That's really important because you don't want it to fill in the background and get all solid. You only want your lines to change color. And then hit OK. It's kind of hard to see in this view, but now all my words have turned white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on the photo again so that it's selected. Then click and drag that ping on top. And it goes exactly into the right place. I don't need to do anything else to that photo. All I'm going to do is come over to the Layers palette and right-click, Flatten Image. And now that full-size photo is ready to go. Now it's time to take a look at my smaller photos that I'm going to use in the divided template. This is the template I chose. It's one of Ali's templates that she created for this year's December Daily. And I'm going to use these other 3 pictures. So first, before I drag them into the template, I want to make sure that I've done any color correction that I need to. So again, I'm going to auto contrast, auto levels, didn't do a lot of changing there, it was pretty decent light. Remove color cast, click on something white just to make sure we got good skin color. Now this isn't the most perfect picture. I actually like it. I think it's a lot of fun, but my camera ended up focusing back here and not on my boys. So this part is sharp and my boys are a little bit blurry. So that's why I chose to use this photo in the smaller 4x6 template. Okay, so now that I have my template open, I'm going to remember I have the Move tool up here. I'm going to actually click on this rectangle because that's where the photo is going to go. Then I drag and drop onto that square. It'll be a lot bigger than that, so we'll have to do some resizing. It's taking my computer a minute to think. Drop it in there. Okay, so now I need to resize. So I'm going to grab the corner and just drag it down. And it will resize, and then move it up and keep dragging it down until it is a size that will fit within this window. Okay, so now I made it a little bit too small. I'm going to drag it bigger. Actually, I think I need it just a smidgen bigger. There we go. And I'm going to move it over to the side so that you get both of my boys in there. Okay, now when I come over here to the Layers palette, I want to clip this photo to that layer underneath. Right now it's not on top of these other pictures, but it could end up that way, and we don't even want to mess with it. We want it clipped. So I like to use a shortcut where I put my pointer right in between the 2 layers, and I hold down, if you're on a Mac, it's your Option key, and it gives you those little double rings. If you're on a PC, it's the Alt key, and then you click in between, and it makes that clip to the image below it. Now you could also go up to Layer, Create Clipping Mask if you wanted to, but let's see. Sorry, Layer, Create Clipping Mask, or Command G is another option. But I like to do those two little rings. It's just easiest for me. Okay, so now I've got this photo clipped. Now I'm going to do the one up here. And I'm going to use this photo of my son. Again, I want to do some quick edits. Auto contrast, auto levels, adjust color, and remove color cast. And I just find something white. And, ooh, that's too much. That's better. Go back to the template. Again, I click on the rectangle that I'm going to use. I drop the photo right on top. It'll be too big. That's okay. Size it down by grabbing that corner and dragging it down. And then getting it in the spot where I want it to go. Click OK, and then again I'm going to clip it. See, now this would be a situation where if I didn't clip it, it would be hanging off into these other photos, and we don't want that to happen. So that's where you come to the spot in between the photo and the spot where you're clipping it to. Hold down the Alt or the Option key, and then select. And that creates a clipping mask. Okay, and last photo is this one of my littlest. Again, auto contrast. Auto levels, doesn't do a whole lot because I had pretty good light. And then click on his white shirt. And what that does, it just gives a little bit better skin tone usually, not quite as washed out. Okay, so I click on this rectangle, drag and drop, and resize. Pretty easy. I keep it pretty quick. I don't do major edits like I might if I was using these photos in a scrapbook page. Just keep it simple. Down a little bit more. Okay. And then I clip it. I can still resize it if it seems too big. There we go. Okay. Now, you can move the label, or you can even, I believe, let me get on it. I believe you can even change the words if you wanted to. That's not letting me. But you could erase them and type in your own words if you wanted to do that. But I'm going to leave it the way it is. And I'm going to come over here to the Layers palette, and I'm going to right-click and flatten image. You could also come up here to Layer and flatten images at the bottom. Now sometimes I like to have the white lines in between. The last couple of days I've been forgetting to add them in, but I'll go ahead and show you how I do that. Go over here again. I've got some gray and I want it to be back to white, so I click the default, click the arrow so white's on top. And I come over here and I choose, this has got all the different shapes, and I choose the line tool. And when I'm doing just lines between photos, I usually do about 10 pixels is what I like to do on that. So I come up here with my line tool and I start at the top, and as I'm dragging it down, it's easy for the line to start to swing. But if you hit Shift, it'll go to whatever the closest straight line is. So I hold down Shift as I drag, and that keeps it straight. Oops, see, I let go of Shift before I let go of the mouse. So let's do that again. Drag, hold on Shift to keep it straight, and then release the line before you release your Shift. Okay, so there's my first one. And then I want one that's going to go across here. And so I want to be sure I start it in the white line so you won't see the edge. Again, I'm holding down the Shift key and just dragging it across. Now if I go back to the Move tool and I have this line selected, I can move it up or down wherever I need to make sure that it's lined up correctly. And I can also zoom in, get real close, and look and make sure this line isn't going out too far or isn't too high or too low, that it's dividing the pictures correctly. And that one looks good. So I come back over here, flatten image again, and I'm ready to print. Now, for me, I could just print these 4x6s with my printer on a 4x6 paper, but I like to try to save my paper a little bit. So I'm going to do a new blank file. I'm going to make it 8.5 by 11, so it's a full-size sheet of paper. And I'm going to drag on both my items onto here to print. So I'll drag on my 6x8, and I'll go up and image, rotate, and then I'm going to rotate just that layer. And I'm going to move it up. I'm just using my arrow key. You can drag it with your mouse, but if I use my arrow key, it keeps it straighter, so it's more centered. Okay, so I just move it up towards the top, and then I drag on my template. This one I drag around with my mouse and just kind of line it up. And again, I flatten the image, and then all I print is this 8.5 by 11 that has both pieces on it. Both of the things that I need to print are on this one file. So I'll get this printed up and show you what else I do. So once I get it printed, I trim it down. I do print my photos here at home because I like to be able to stay right on top of my December daily. I don't want to have to wait until a week later or 2 weeks later to get my prints done. So I print them out, I trim around them so that they'll fit, and then I just slide in my 6x8, my full-size photo. I slide in my 4x6. It goes right in this pocket. This particular one has it on the opening on the back, but I slide in my 4x6. I pull out my little journal card, I write a few sentences, stick it back in, and I'm done. That's it. That's all I do. Most days, really, it takes me like 15 minutes. The longest part is editing my photos and getting them ready to print. The rest of it is really pretty quick and simple. And that's what I do to keep up with my December daily. Now, maybe you don't want to do a December daily, or you haven't started yet and you're thinking, well, it's too late for me. I guess I'll have to. You can still do a fun December project like this. Stay on top of it, get it done, and document some of those memories of your holiday season. Thank you for joining me, and for more exciting inspiration and December daily layouts, you can visit my website, scrapinspired.com.